He was accused of murder and acquitted, all while he says state investigators knew who really killed his wife. But the end of the trial was far from the end for the man who says he became a victim of the state.
I use vacuum tweezers.
It's precision work setting diamonds in a carefully crafted piece of jewelry. But for Terry Daniel, it is his life work. You see, he used to be in the jewelry sales business, but now manufacturing is his specialty. He says it's hard to get people into your store when they believe you're a murderer.
It will always be a detriment in that way. I'll never regain the reputation that I had.
To understand how Daniel's life was turned upside down, we have to go back to January 2nd, 1988. The headline of the Watauga Republican shared the news of his wife's violent death.
Cannot describe that. She was at the base of our stairs and had a fillet knife protruding from her stomach and just a massive pool of blood around her head. I can't describe those feelings.
About a mile away, someone found a bag of jewelry stolen from inside the home, including Roberta's wedding ring. Some of the jewelry was still tagged from the jewelry store Daniel owned.
I think this fellow had a change of heart, and he decided not to have that bit of evidence found on him.
The sheriff's office called in the OSBI to investigate, and Daniel says the agent focused on him to the detriment of other evidence.
I think a lot of people knew who did it, and I think a lot of people still do. I think we've known for many, many years. I think the OSBI knew a long time before I went to trial.
Daniel didn't see a jury trial until the year 2000. That jury returned a unanimous not guilty verdict. But even after being cleared in a court of law, Daniel says he isn't free.
It'll never be done. The repercussions from it are still a daily thing here.
So what about the $50,000 worth of jewelry confiscated by the OSBI? It never appeared at trial and hasn't been seen for more than a decade. In a letter he wrote to the OSBI, Daniel says he was told the jewelry was part of an ongoing investigation against him. When Fox 25 checked, the OSBI still claims the DA's office has it. The Oklahoma County DA's office says it doesn't have any evidence from that case because ultimately a Grady County prosecutor handled the trial. But Grady County also says it doesn't have the jewelry. The OSBI says state law doesn't require the agency to release its chain of custody forms to allow Fox 25 to follow who handled the evidence. And the agency says its case is closed, even though there's still no answer as to who murdered Roberta Daniel. The OSBI says it investigated every lead, but consider this. In 1988, DNA testing was in its infancy. Evidence from the crime could still hold clues as to who Daniel says the real murderer is.
The OSBI will not pursue him because to do that would be to admit they made some pretty big screw-ups, and they don't admit mistakes like that.
The OSBI turned down our request for an interview on this case. The agency did say anyone with information about the murder should call their tip line or the Blaine County Sheriff's Office. For Terry Daniel, he would like to see his property returned, but more importantly, he would like to see the real person responsible for the murder brought to justice. Reporting in the studio, Phil Cross, Fox 25 News.